Gentlemen, I
What's
get
up?
to be a part of a consortium today.
That's not even how you say it, dude.
It's important, though, and I'm honored.
That's probably why you're not part of one. You can't say it.
I am now. I'm
But you're
thrilled.
right. It is this particular one is super important, and it is part of our workforce development series, and we get to talk with our friend Kyra Tillman again, who's been on the show before.
Yep.
And feature the amazing work they're doing at the now I can't even say it. The manufacturing
Karma.
and and I messed up the word manufacturing, which is one you think I would get. Yes, the Manufacturing Pathways Consortium. There we go.
It wasn't meant to be a tongue
So good.
twister, but I guess it is.
Oh.
Oh, hey, Kyra, good to be here with
Should
you
we
again.
just call it MPC from now on?
Yes, we do refer
NPC.
to it as NPC, and that is absolutely fine.
Or just pathways? How about that?
Whatever,
That's the one word neither one of you
Oh.
struggled with.
as long as you know what we're doing, we don't care what you call us. Thank you guys for
Oh
having
my
me.
goodness. Oh,
This is great.
absolutely.
Hey, you also get to be part of the blooper reel forever. So tell us a bit about yourself, Kyra. Like, give us kind of your origin story, and then we'll move into what the MPC is and the mission it holds.
Sure. So, my name is Kyra Tillman. I am the third generation owner of BTM Industries. We're a small job shop in Woodstock, Illinois. My grandfather started the company in 1963. I took it over from my dad in 2017. Worked here as a kid. I grew up one block away from the shop, so I was slave labor my entire life. Went to college, swore I would never come back here, and here I am. I own the place. I spent 14 years in construction management. I have a degree in industrial technology. Was looking for another avenue for life. I had small kids at home and a stressful job. Wanted to be able to be there for them, be closer to home during the day. So my dad was here running the company on his own at that point. His brother had to retire for health reasons, and he was looking around saying, "I had no plan for retirement. What am I going to do now?" So the two of us got together, and decided to come back and see if there was a way I could help. That was in 2013, and then 2017 he retired. I bought the business, and away I went.
So you
Nice.
told your
Awesome.
dad, like, I got young kids at home and I have a stressful job, and he's like, "Well, hey, come run a machine shop. It's so much better."
There's a lot of times I was like, "What was I thinking? This is."
I was having the same thought, Nick. That is actually quite funny.
I need to hire that guy on my sales team.
Well, yeah. I was thinking when she said that too, because I know we've talked about this before, but I mean, obviously, we always talk about how running machine shops like the most difficult thing in the world. But like with all the different businesses I've been involved with throughout my career, like I would say construction's a close second.
Mm.
So yeah, you just went from hard to harder.
At least the variables are more controlled here, right? I didn't have to wake up all the worrying about the rain and if I could get my parking lots in,
Yeah,
and
sure.
that took a while to wear off, but so at least it's not weather constrained, but it is still stressful. It's a different kind of stress.
So, Kyra, for the last 9 years now that you've been in charge, you obviously need to hire people and bring new talent into the business. And maybe that's how you got involved with MPC. Can you tell us about, how that evolved?
Yeah, so the Manufacturing Pathways Consortium is a local organization local to McHenry County that started in 2019. A gentleman by the name of John Kane, who's the CEO of Scott Forge, great company locally, had seen a speaker at a conference talking about workforce development and sort of this skills gap that we all talk about, and had welcomed that speaker to come and speak with him and some representatives of our local community college, McHenry County College, to see, is there a way that we can all come together to try to help focus on this workforce issue locally. So from those conversations spawned the Manufacturing Pathways Consortium, which is a group of over 100 local manufacturers. All of our local high schools are participants and very active. And we have over 50 community partners that come alongside of us as well. And the only thing we focus on is growing the talent pipeline for our local manufacturing community. That's it. We're not just a general manufacturing organization. We simply focus on the talent pipeline for manufacturers.
So awesome.
We need about 1,000 more of those.
Yeah.
This
We
is
do.
exactly why we're having this series, to inspire other people to hear the speakers, hear the people that are actually doing it, and then go replicate it in their local areas. So
Yeah.
that sounds like a really critical mass of participation.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's been so successful?
I think we speak to a real need. We're all in the same boat, right? We're all fishing from the same pond and wondering why there aren't enough fish in it. So there are enough of us around that have the mentality like we can't just sit around and complain about this. We can't just stay the victims. Nothing's going to change. We have to start asking the question, why aren't there more people for us to train, and what are we doing about it? How do we get more people involved, and how do we get more awareness for the industry so that we have a bigger pool to train? So I think there are enough like-minded individuals locally that we've been able to come together. I mean, we're shoulder to shoulder manufacturers working together, not fighting for the same people, but trying to come up with solutions and ways to make things better.
You know what I love that you said there, and it seems like this keeps being a theme more and more when we talk about like workforce development. We talk about women in manufacturing, next generation in manufacturing, and yeah, you said quit playing victim and do something about it. And I think we, I mean, I know I've had the lazy response of you know, oh, there's just not enough people out there. Or there's whatever it is, and I think sometimes we get too comfortable in that lazy response because it's true.
Yeah.
Right? We've had several episodes lately where we've talked to people that are out there doing something, and it's like, "Okay, I'm just being lazy." Like, I mean, I could get together with my local team, and or my local, peers and do something and be more deliberate about all those things than just kinda stand back and complain about, "Oh, those young kids don't wanna work," or, whatever it is.
That's
Yeah.
the pain pet peeve of the month is like
It
this
really is.
just complaining about like people go on and talk about the skills gap 10 times more than they try to close it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
I
I
mean,
mean
it's real. It is, it is a real problem. I get that.
I mean, I had this issue come up today in my own team, right? We have a process breaking down at one of our facilities. All the responses I'm getting back are, "Well, this guy's not trained. This guy's not trained. This guy's not trained." It's the same guy. He's been with us for 2 weeks. No one in that chain, like, took any ownership on training him, right? I mean, it's the same thing. We can just point to, "Oh, it's just a problem," but
Mhm.
no one's taking ownership of it and doing it,
Yeah.
right? So that
And
was
the
the
sales
answer
version
was
is like, "Oh, it's really hard to get into that customer." It's like, "Well, did you make any calls?"
right, right. Yeah, I mean, it's just taking ownership of the problem and solving it, which sounds like exactly what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and one of the biggest steps that we've taken to try to solve it is we started a summer internship program. And every summer we get way more interested students than we can place, which breaks my heart
That's
every year
incredible.
that there are so many kids that don't get to participate on one hand, but on the other hand, I'm thrilled that so many get to have an opportunity to come into one of our manufacturing facilities and spend 10 weeks with us working right alongside welders, machinists, whatever it is that that manufacturing company does. It's amazing. This is the 5th summer this year that we've done it. This year we had 186 kids apply and we could only
Wow,
place 85. So over 100 kids
Wow.
didn't
that's
get an
incredible.
opportunity. Yeah. And every year it grows. Every year we get more kids applying because the best, just like referrals, we all love referrals in our own businesses. Our best referrals to that program are the students that did it. They go back to
Sure.
school and they tell their friends, and then their friends are applying the next year. We have lots of students that participate as a junior and then they come back as a senior and apply again and want to go back to work for one of the manufacturers for the summer.
Hmm.
Why do you think it is that so many can't get placed?
Yeah, that's what I was
Kind
gonna
of
ask.
kind of back to Mike's thing, like everyone complains about the skills gap and there's like, "Oh, I got inexperienced young people, but
Mhm.
they're really excited about an internship." And you're like, "Well, no, I only want people who already know everything." Like,
Well, that's part of it. That's a lot of we do hear that a lot, but I don't have time. I don't have time to have somebody who doesn't have experience on my floor. I only need experienced people, which again, I understand. We have a small shop. There's only 13 of us here full time. We have 2 summer interns as well. It's not easy,
mhm,
but to me, it's necessary. Not doing it, not training people is more costly than spending extra time to train somebody.
Sure.
The opportunity
Are
cost is huge.
are you guys providing, like, is Pathways providing a like an intern curriculum or anything, or is it literally just whatever that company wants the intern to do, they do?
So we don't have a curriculum per se. We actually this year have been talking about putting together sort of some rough guidelines, especially for the people whose answer to us is, "I wouldn't know what to do with an intern." So to me, that seems like, well, we could try to help with that. We're going to get together actually with our neighboring county, Lake County, with some manufacturers there and put together some framework to give to people in the future. So that's one thing that we hear. Another thing is we're too busy. We have a number of companies, maybe they're part of a larger national conglomerate or what have you, and their insurance and or legal team
Yeah,
sort of runs the company and they have a
sure.
no under 18 on the floor. We can't really do anything
Mm.
about that. Those are a lot of the reasons that we hear. Some of the people that don't get placed just sort of ghost us. So just like we
Yeah.
do with regular applicants, we do have some students that apply and then are just non-responsive, so they can't get
Yeah.
placed. But the large majority can't get placed because we just don't have enough spots.
I've had interns here, I guess, every summer since I bought it in 18. And the first few years, we brought them in with no plan, right? It was maybe somebody I knew's kid or whatever, and we
Yeah.
brought him in, and it was a lot because you end up, so my management team ends up going, "We don't want any more. We don't know what to have them do every day." Right? But we stuck with it, and I mean, now I think we have a pretty good internal program for interns, but part of it, I think, was kind of breaking through that, what do we do with them?
Mhm.
mhm.
And, like, so even now when I mean, where we still have a pretty good plan, there's still days that, like, we were gonna have them do this, but the person that needed to work with them is getting thrown off because of something came out of left field, right? Like, we gotta deal with this other problem. They don't have time to work with the intern today. And now we just have, like, this known set of things that we'll have interns do
Mhm.
if we just don't have time to work with them that day.
Yeah.
So there's, every few weeks there's a day it's like, "Hey, we were gonna do this, but today let's focus on this," and it's like busy work they can do themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So maybe if you have some of that stuff, that might ease some people that don't think they have time to
Yeah.
manage them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
maybe
then
it'd give them some ideas, like, "Just do this with them then."
right. And some of our larger companies, Scott Ford's, for example, is a very large company. They have
Yeah.
their own internal program,
Right.
and they're willing to help us put together some rough framework to help others. And I know here we're not big. We don't have departments, but we
Right.
we try to move the interns around where they're with a machinist maybe and maybe another day they're in the welding department and maybe the other day they're in inspection and try to move them around, but one of the interns we have right now, he came in not knowing anything about manufacturing, and he has been on our manual boring mill with one of our machinists for the past 2 weeks. He loves it. He's just in heaven. It's this big, old machine that doesn't have CNC controls, and he is just having a blast. So,
Yeah.
most days he has stayed there because that just has worked with him and that particular machinist.
That's
I think that
awesome.
you guys keep saying the word program, and I think that's the key is to just like have a plan, like have certain milestones for where the intern should be after this many days or weeks or
Yeah.
whatever. Do you have kind of like templates for the consortium
Not
consortium?
not yet. Not yet. We're working on that.
Okay, because yeah, I think also there's nothing wrong with interns making coffee or
Right.
doing other stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
it's an internship, so I think they want to learn something, of course, but like there's some exchange of service on both
Yeah.
sides too.
Mhm.
Hey, help out, like go
And
organize that office drawer or whatever.
right.
As long as it's not just only that kind of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
silliness.
And when the internship program was started, it was started as a manufacturing experience. And we have to remind our hosts of that sometimes because sometimes people call interns, they use that term intern for a lot of things. Sometimes they start thinking it's like a college intern who's got a little bit more experience and knows what they're doing. So we have to kind of keep going back to this is about getting an experience in the manufacturing industry, period. They don't know
Hmm.
Yeah.
anything. They don't
Mhm.
even know what manufacturing is. They just know somebody said you can go over and apply and make $16 an hour for the summer and they're, woo, like, okay, great, I'll do that.
Well, and
They don't know what they're
is it
signing up
fair
for.
is it fair to say in a lot of cases too, it's probably a lot of them's first job they've ever had?
Yeah, most of them it
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
So sometimes that's the most valuable thing they learn, right? It's
Hmm.
just being somewhere on time,
Just
doing,
Yep.
I mean, it's just,
experiencing the environment.
Yeah.
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 Manufacturers, what is your biggest headache? Is it measuring improving profitability, gaining efficiencies with AI automation, tightening up your cybersecurity, getting your business ready to sell? There's so many things. At CLA, their goal is to know you and help you with challenges like these and more. Every day, CLA helps manufacturers tap into millions in revenue and cost savings. Imagine cutting scrap by 75% and saving millions, or boosting capacity and revenues by up to 20%. Picture achieving 4.5 million in accelerated tax deductions, doubling your business's sales price, or slashing order intake time by 75% with automation. And how about increasing inventory turns by 50% with key operational changes? All of these are real CLA success stories with one thing in common: a deep understanding of the client's business. So, what's your biggest challenge and how can CLA help you? Visit claconnect.com to learn more about how you can grow your top and bottom line.
Guys, did I talk about my intern Peter and how he just like really wanted to work outside? Did I tell that
Not
story?
not on this show yet.
Okay, so I'll just do it again. So I brought in this intern. Everyone like so he's connected to a few other guys that work at our company, and everyone's like, "Oh, this guy's got to be in sales. He's got the perfect personality for it." I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take an intern. And yeah, so Peter is his name, and young guy. He just does. I'm like, oh, this guy will be great. I've got this whole plan for him, and he gets to thinking. He's like, one of those big Catholic families. We all have like 8 kids. I'm not going to want to travel a lot because I plan to do the same thing. I'm like, all right. Well, the regional sales position that we were kind of grooming you for, that's probably not going to work because you travel a lot. And I'm like, well, what about like 1 week a month? He's like, yeah, maybe. And he's doing great. He's like, I don't really think I want to travel that much. So then we're like, all right, we'll build this whole inside sales thing where you'll be the first one at our company who kind of does like outbound kind of appointment setting calls and connecting with old dormant customers and stuff like that. And he's doing great. He's like got this awesome personality. He's doing such a good job there too. And then one day he's like, "Hey, can I stop over at your house? I want to talk to you." So we have a burger on my patio and he's like, I don't wanna sit in front of a computer. I'm so bad at that. I'm like, "Alright, you don't wanna sit in front of a computer, you don't wanna travel. We're running out of sales stuff for you to do, you know?"
Right.
And
Golf.
and he's like, yeah, yeah, golf. He's like, all apologetic, like, "Hey, I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "Peter, you're an intern. If all you get out of these 3 months is what you don't wanna do,
Yeah,
that's a win.
Yep.
sure.
Like, thank you. You've done a great job in every single thing that we wanted you to do." And he starts telling me about the jobs he does like from his past. He would do like kind of like landscaping projects and like a big like build a shed for somebody or whatever. And he's got this idea to start his own business. I'm like, start with me. Take my landscaping account. I pay somebody else to do my landscaping. So now I got him doing all sorts of projects and he's doing my yard and stuff. But like that's what they need to
Yeah,
understand, I think, is just checking a box of what I don't wanna do for my career is a
Yep.
massive win. That's a great
sure.
learning experience. And some people will try any industry. They'll try manufacturing, be like, this isn't really for me." But for every one of those, there's probably a few more who just can't wait to get back on that boring mill like Kyra was
Yeah.
talking about.
Mhm.
So,
Hmm.
I think that's important too.
So, Kara, we've heard about different programs around the country. We're usually profiling the more successful ones as we are here. But I've definitely heard of programs where they just don't have enough students coming into it and
Mm.
not enough people coming out of it. and you're having the opposite problem. You're having way too much
Yeah.
demand. What do you think is the difference there? I
That's
mean,
a good question.
obviously you don't have deep experience in the areas that it's not being as successful. Do you have any inclination of like why it's like you've hit this flywheel effect where it's now building and building instead of slowing down,
Yeah.
and that's what we want to really pull out the gems and help replicate that in other places. So what do you think?
I think a lot of it has to do with the close partnership between our manufacturers and our local high schools. So all of our local county high schools have revived their manufacturing programs in one way or another. They don't all necessarily have their own machine shops, but they have some type of manufacturing curriculum. And I think that has a lot to do with it. The fact that the high schools are seeing, college track isn't the answer for everyone. We have to make
Mhm.
sure we're showing kids more options. So the fact that the high schools have been willing to revive their programs and then are willing to come in and say, "Hey, manufacturers, what do you need from us? What do our kids need to learn in our building so that they're more helpful when they come out to find a job?" And I mean, that's how 100% of our recruiting for the intern program is done through the high schools and through the career counselors or the CTE teachers. So I think that that tight knit community that we have and the partnerships between the schools and the manufacturers, it has paid dividends. And I know I've talked to people in other areas of the country and they don't have that. We're very fortunate that eh, everybody in this county works together really well. And I think that it just makes a difference. They're saying we have over 500 manufacturers in McHenry County. It's not that big of a county. So, 500 manufacturers is a lot. We're the biggest contributor to the county's GDP. So they're seeing that there's so many of us out here that need something and stepping up and saying, "Well, how do we help? How do we work together?"
Hmm, that's awesome.
Is like anything with the city or the government involved at all?
No. Um, Only as far as MCC, McHenry County College, is the convener of the program. That's the that's the most involvement anybody has. We go out and get grant funds every year to fund the internships. So these internships are partially paid by grant funding as well. So
Yeah.
this year, with the funding that we had, students are working 29 hours a week at $16 an hour, and MPC is paying 85% of that.
Oh, wow.
So the manufacturers are paying a few dollars an hour to have
Wow.
interns.
Yeah, I mean,
Again,
that's getting involved, from a governmental perspective. Because my dad always says, like, if you really wanna make meaningful change for manufacturing, you gotta have the government, academia, and then the businesses themselves, and they all have to work together.
mhm,
And,
Mhm.
I mean, what a good example, though. So
yeah.
it's only a few dollars an hour that the actual businesses need to contribute towards
Yeah,
the internships?
yep, 85% is covered by our grant funding.
And are
That's
Um,
those
incredible.
grants coming from the county or through the MEP network, or where are those coming from?
they differ. So the original seed money that we had was from our county, it was ARPA funding. So when our county got ARPA funding after COVID, they had excess funds and we're looking at how do we serve the community? Wait, manufacturing really needs help with their talent pipeline. So the MPC was able to get some grant funding from that. We've gotten some from the community college board. MCC is really good at looking for grant funding for us, thankfully. So every year we're out looking to make sure that we have the next year funded. So now this year
Mhm.
we already have 27 funded through a grant fund as well.
Nice.
That's
So
incredible.
was were all those high schools already revitalizing their manufacturing programs before this program got put in place, or did it help the high schools decide to start pushing that
The
again?
larger ones were already starting to bring it back. Some of
Yeah.
the smaller ones have kind of gotten the inspiration from seeing this. And even if early on, if they didn't have a program in place, we still invited them in and said, "Come and see what we're doing. Come listen. Come see if there's a way that your high school can, implement some things and make some changes too." I mean, and we've gone so far as our educators bring concerns to us, to the manufacturers, and like recently, they came to us and said, "Hey, there's this new foreign language requirement going into effect in the state of Illinois, and it's gonna really hurt the CTE programs, the career and technical education programs, because every student now is going to have to take 2 years of a foreign language. That's 2 years that they're not gonna be able to take CTE programs. So
Mhm.
now all of these manufacturing programs that we worked so hard to revive are gonna go away because the kids aren't going to be able to fit it in."
We'll just tell them G&M code's a foreign language.
Well, we
Dude, that
did,
is
Nick.
awesome.
So we brought so I'm a TMA member, and TMA is part of the consortium as well. So I brought it to TMA because I know they have lobbyists, and I said, "How can you help?" And at first they said, "Kyra, why do we care about that?" Same, it was the same reaction we had, like, "Great, why are you telling us?" When I explained what it was gonna do to manufacturing programs, they got on board. IMA was already on board, and now just last month, the Senate and the House in Illinois passed legislation that would make CTE programs count for the foreign language
Oh, yeah.
credit,
Great.
You did
Yes.
it.
and so it's waiting
So
for the
good.
governor to sign it, but, again, that's another thing that came, I mean, that's real change that we were able to
Yeah.
affect just by coming together and being so working so closely with the educators and the manufacturers and saying, "Look, help us help you." That's what the schools were saying, like, "This is gonna hurt you guys. Can you help us out here?"
That's
Mhm.
so cool.
That is such a great example of, like, yeah, advocating for some actual meaningful policy change that
Yeah,
can really move the needle.
and
Like,
Yeah,
that's
back to
wonderful.
Mike's point, like, instead of being like, "Oh, well, we're getting hurt by this new policy," you're like, you push
Yeah.
back and say, "Hey, what about this?" And then it works.
had we not been working so closely together with the educators, I would have I mean, I would have never, that would have never hit my radar or anybody else's for that matter. It would have just, come to be, and 2 years later, we'd be like, "Why are there no kids in these programs anymore?" So I think it's so helpful to work closely with the schools.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's awesome.
If you run a job shop, manage a job shop, or spend your day trying to squeeze more output out of the same people, machines, and hours, this one's for you. During IMTS week, the job shop's workshop and networking reception takes place on Tuesday, September 15th. This half-day program is built specifically for shop professionals like us who want practical ideas that they can actually take back to the floor. You'll hear how other shops are reducing operational costs, improving output, applying AI in shop-ready ways, and implementing automation where it makes sense. Plus, you'll get a detailed industry outlook and the chance to connect with other job shop leaders who are solving the same problems you are. If you're going to IMTS to find ideas that can move the needle in your shop, don't just walk the aisles, get it in the room. Learn more and register at imts.com.
We recently featured Kurt Jensen and JD Machine.
Mhm.
They're near Salt Lake City, Utah, or Ogden. Kurt has championed an incredible program at his high school, and he basically teaches machining classes all day long. But one of the things that's been really successful there is something that I'd be curious to see if any of your schools that do have a high school or machining program is he basically invited the guidance counselors to come work in his shop or, make something in the shop and, ended up with some small little machined part that they would literally, stick on their desk. And as they're talking to students about guidance counselor things, that machined part is right there in front of between them. And they're often, pick it up and look at it and like, what's that? And you're like, oh yeah, it's the machining program we have here at school. And they're like, oh, that's interesting. Let me learn more about that. Right. But it's a very practical step that just has helped foster the understanding from those guidance counselors that this is actually a really neat program and it's a great pathway to a great career. Because a lot of the times it feels like guidance counselors for years now, and I think universally many of people believe this, is, they're ushered toward that 4-year path because that's what quote unquote success looks like.
Right.
Oftentimes because they just aren't even aware of the other options. And especially now with all the demand, before we hit record, Kyra, you were talking about just how incredibly busy you are, right? Your current customers prospects just reaching out of the blue saying, hey, we need machine parts made. And I think I'm hearing that more and more and more. And it feels like we're in this sort of super cycle of just massive demand for machining services, probably for many years to come. And so we've got to come up with creative ways to get more young people interested. And those guidance counselors are a key part of it because they can even talk to the parents and say, hey, you really, because maybe the parents are in more of the 4-year mindset. But if they can kind of open their eyes and reveal to them, hey, this is actually an incredible opportunity, maybe even better than the 4-year option because AI has taken all those jobs. And
Yeah.
so anyway, have the guidance counselors been a key part at any of these schools?
They participate. I don't know that anybody has had them come in and make a part like that. I think
Hmm.
that's a great idea. They do participate with us. A lot of the counselors and career advisors and things are
Hmm.
part of the consortium. And they can't it's hard for them to know about every career that's out there, right? So
Sure.
that's why as a community, we all step up. There are always MPC members at job fairs and career fairs and all the different things at local high schools to help because we know they can't possibly cover everything. We get that. So
Hmm.
it's we feel like it's part of our responsibility as good stewards of the industry to be there and represent manufacturing. We all do something very different in manufacturing, but just kind of spreading the word that most people that live around here have no idea there are so many of us around. They just don't know.
Yeah, I have this vision in my head as you guys are talking of like a little display case with the machined part and then like almost something you'd see at a museum and then like all these like pointing out how it was made and kind of advertising the industry. I think that'd be like a cool thing to kind of make for the high schools and the guidance counselors for them to put on their desk just as kind of like a little art piece almost that kind of
A,
sits
a,
there and then
a diorama.
yeah, there you go. Something like that.
If it's anything like my life, it's due tomorrow.
Yeah.
My kid, the kids need it in the morning.
And you help stay up all night, make it for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Need a
did that.
shoebox.
Oh gosh. I did that to my parents. My mom's like, "I'm not doing this anymore. You can just get the F."
I let them get a couple Fs.
Oh, so funny.
Mhm.
So, Kyra, let's talk a bit about the students. You talked about
Mhm.
working together with the schools, but I think one thing that our industry sometimes struggles to do is to connect with younger people and connect with students. And there's a lot to learn. And with how successful your program has been, I'm sure you've learned a lot about better ways to connect with students and what really engages and inspires them. So, do you have any learnings to share with the audience as far as like what's really worked and helped you connect with the next generation?
I think one of the things that we try to tell everybody is they don't know. They have no idea what they like or don't like. They're gonna come in and say, "I don't wanna go over there. I only wanna work on a computer." It doesn't matter. Make them do it anyway. Make them have the experience. We had another kid that was here a few summers ago who came in and said, "I'm only here because my parents made me sign up for this and get a job. I'm gonna be a computer engineer. I'm gonna program computers. That's all I wanna do." So, just kind of rolling his eyes and dragging his feet. He ended up spending his entire summer on that same boring mill that has no computer controls on it, but he just he didn't know. They think they know, they don't
Yeah.
know because they haven't had
Mhm.
any experiences, so you kinda just have to put their eye rolling and feet dragging to the side if they do come in with that, and just give them an experience. Just show them what you do, whatever that is,
Mhm.
however many different things that is. And, we still like I said before, we still have a problem with kids ghosting us. Some of them ghost. We try text because that seems to work better than email. Email is not very successful at all
Yeah.
with the high school students. Whatever, that's fine. We've learned that. So we try to text and do phone calls with the number of people that we have apply, it's obvious that this isn't a generational thing. This generation isn't curious about manufacturing. They just don't know. They don't
Mhm.
know
Yeah.
it's out there. So they are curious. There's plenty of them that are curious and want to get their hands dirty, want to, get in there and make something. You just have to give them. They just need an opportunity. And to me that's the big thing. It's Yes, there is a bit of a skills gap. Yes, we did kind of go away from the trades for a while in this country, but there's an opportunity gap. They just don't know that the opportunities are there. And they're only going to find out if we tell them. We've got to open our doors. We have tours in October for manufacturing month or at any other time when if a school says we want to bring students on a tour, we will find a manufacturer to do that for them. We invite the parents to come along on tours. We invite parents to come along on interviews if they want for the internships to see where their student is going to be working because that is a big component is changing the perception with parents too that it's not
Mhm.
dark, dirty and dangerous anymore. A lot of these shops, even small ones, are using a lot of technology to get things done. And it's just time and time again, parents walk through and are wowed and just say, this is not what I expected. Or I had no idea that this kind of thing was made around here. I had no idea that manufacturing was so advanced. I had no idea that you do everything on computers. You don't have any paper in your shop. It's just uh, communication, right? And being open and opening, inviting with with the public, with the students, with the parents, whoever it is.
I think
One of
there's
the big takeaways was the channels of communication that like texting versus
yeah.
email. I
Yeah.
You
think
got to
that
get on. You got to Snapchat them. You got to
Yeah.
get them on
Mike,
Yeah.
Mike,
Snapchat.
Mike hasn't been that successful trying to connect with MySpace, but
Right.
um, if he was just texting them, it could win.
I think, Kyra, I think something you said in there too, like if you're going to scale your business, I don't care what industry you're in, but in this industry in particular, if we're going to scale to meet the demand that a lot of us are seeing, we don't just need machinists and welders and whatever too. We need that computer science person. We need accountants. We need sales. We need all those other supporting roles. So
Mhm.
like, I mean, if a kid loves computer science and he thinks that's what he's want to do, there's a role for that in manufacturing,
Yeah.
right? So it's, if you can make them fall in love with the industry, whatever, if they do go on to a 4-year degree in something else, right? That can still translate. I mean, we need attorneys, we need accountants, we need obviously engineers, but we need all those supporting roles too. And I think I mean, my intern that you guys both know, Rhett, he's a perfect example. He's been with me since he was 14. He just graduated high school. He is going to college. He's going to stay with me during college. He's going into cybersecurity. And so I don't remember what his dual major is, but cybersecurity and something else. He has taken a keen interest in CMMC,
Mm.
right? So he's kind of doing a analysis of our preparedness for CMMC currently.
Mhm.
And and he's going to go off and get educated in cybersecurity and whatever his other major is. But we're going to need him, right? The industry still needs him.
Yeah.
What we had from him for the 4 years he's been here is he fell in love with manufacturing,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And I think that's just as important. So I mean, I think those kids that like even, spending computer science, a kid that thinks he wants to do computer science that spent his summer on the boring mill, that's okay. Right. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he now knows a new industry and he can come back to that industry and make a difference in computer science too. I mean, look at
Yeah. I mean, you're cooking with gas. If you wanted to program computers and you learned a manual machine, then
right.
CNC, you're gonna fall in love.
Yeah.
And
Well, and
like CMMC is a perfect example of how someone who's really into cybersecurity but found a love for manufacturing
right.
can be.
Yep.
There's we could think of 20 of them if we just kept going.
And I mean, Paul is the exception of this, but of the four of us on this call right now, none of us are machinists. Paul
Nope.
was, I
Mhm.
mean, but we're all having an impact on the industry in different ways, right?
Mhm.
So we need all those other roles too.
Mhm. Absolutely. And that's another thing too. I think people automatically think when you say manufacturing, you're talking about the shop floor. You're just talking about somebody
Right.
working on the shop floor, and you're right. That's not it. There's so much more to the manufacturing industry than just machinists or welders or what have you. We need all those people, but we need
100%.
all the other support too. And yeah, you're right. I'm not a machinist. I don't pretend to be one. But I love this industry, and I think a part of my job as a leader here is helping to promote the industry as best I can because it's for the good of all of us. We
Mhm.
need we need our manufacturing community to thrive. We all do. The country does.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Paul, tell me about your trip to Italy.
I went there with the NTMA and we got to tour SMW Autoblok, 2 different facilities. Absolutely blew me away. World class, enormous places. I can't even count how many machines there were, but so much automation. One of the most incredible takeaways for me was the breadth of what they made. I did not know they made so many work holding products and automation products. And I loved watching a big chuck machine a little chuck. So they were machining chucks in huge lathes. I thought that was super fun.
Yeah, you introduced them to me after you came back, and they've been to my shop. And the ideas they have to like breathe new life into some of my machines and the tools and the jobs that we're running was just shocking.
And then one of the coolest things is we're bringing this new automated pallet delivery system, the Hennig workflow, to market. And guess what the interface is? It's SMW 0 point locators. It's really sweet.
We're getting ready to get some of those.
So, how do people find SMW Autoblok to look through that massive catalog of products?
It's SMW Autoblok, BLOK.com.
Yeah, get rid of that C. SMW Autoblok, BLOK.com. There's plenty of, platforms or channels in the industry that are about just machining, and making chips has always been about leading manufacturing companies. And obviously you're doing that. You own the place, as you mentioned earlier. So how how much has this impacted your business? And do you have any long-term employees that have come from the, what do we call it?
MPC.
MPC.
We don't personally have any long-term, employees that have come from it. There's a couple that we had hoped we hoped would, and it just didn't work out. Actually, there's the one of them that we have now is a junior, and we're really hoping next year when you graduate, come back here because he's pretty great. But as part of my leadership role in MPC, I try to track the interns and figure out where they end up down the road. So there's been over 400 that have gone through the program in the last 4, now 5 years, and I know of 46 that have landed in manufacturing full time,
Nice.
in some capacity. So it's hard to track. I'm sure there are more than that, but, you know, there's been a substantial amount of
It's really
them
good odds.
that have stayed.
Mhm.
You could put like a manufacturing's most wanted poster out for each of these people. Like a little profile of like what they're great at. Like that would be cool.
Yeah. Well, and one
I
of the other
love it.
things that the consortium does on our website, there is what's called the common hiring application. So anyone can go on there, fill out this application, and express a desire to work with a manufacturer locally. So,
Mm.
as one of my other responsibilities in the organization is to make sure that those applications and resumes, if there are resumes included, get in front of all of our manufacturing members. So, usually a few times a week or a few times a month, it's a little slower in the summer, we'll have applicants go through and say, "Hey, I want to work at a manufacturer." Sometimes there summer interns that have graduated and are looking for a full time job. Sometimes they're seasoned engineers that just want a quick way to get in front of 100 plus manufacturers. So that's been another great way that we've tried to shore up the manufacturing industry. And there's a lot of hires that have come from that common hiring application.
That
That's
is a
cool.
brilliant idea.
It's a
Yeah,
really
it's
good
like the
idea.
common college application that
Mhm.
that I
Yeah,
know is out there too.
it's a great
Just
idea.
reduce those barriers to getting a foot in the door, getting
Yeah.
seen. So, Kyra, how, as you got involved with this, is there anything that has been maybe easier or harder than you expected in sort of building this coalition to this consortium? I think I got it right. You know, obviously you're having a lot of success, so there's probably a lot right about it. But anything that's been particularly hard that you would share with folks that might be having ideas they want to do something like this in their own area?
The most difficult part that we've had is finding hosts and getting into the manufacturers. Like I said, there's over 100 manufacturers involved, but there's over 500 of us in this county. So it's a very small percentage that are actually involved. So getting the attention of the manufacturers and getting manufacturers willing to have people come into their space and have a manufacturing experience has been difficult.
Mm.
That has been I knew it would be tough. I knew it wouldn't be the most easy thing just knowing the mentality of manufacturers and, we're busy, we don't have time for that. I didn't expect it to be as difficult as it has been. I thought over the years we would gain more momentum, but we've stayed about the same amount of intern opportunities year over year. We haven't been able to grow it a lot, which is disheartening. And I did not anticipate that that would be the case.
So you mentioned the county. I mean, we're 35 minutes away, but a different county. Is
Mhm.
this something that could work with the company in Rockford or Loves Park or McChesney Park, or, does it go well beyond the area, or?
We have members in Rockford,
Okay,
just
great.
so you know.
Yeah, so I think we gotta connect you to
Just
our
not Nick.
people. Yeah,
Yeah,
not
not
me.
not Nick.
Not yet, because we're in need of a lot of folks as we keep growing, and I
I
gotta
would
get
think
you connected to Mike.
85% of the payroll coverage would be enticing enough to do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Yeah.
it's
thought I thought that would be more enticing than it was. It's been different every year. Some years it's been 50%, some year this year's 85%, but I thought that that would be a bigger draw than it was. And Nick, to your question, in being involved in MPC doesn't matter what county you're in. As far as the interns go, that's a little difficult, because a lot of them don't
the
drive,
travel.
s you know,
Mhm.
and, like, this year with our funding being from our county, it has to be used on county residents. So,
Mm.
all of the kids that we placed this year had to be in the county, but other years, that hasn't been the case. But we certainly do have partners from, Lake County, Winnebago County, King County. So, there's people from all over that have gotten involved, and we'd love to see this idea, the concept grow, right? We
Mhm.
all need it. We could all use this type of program and
Yeah, throughout the whole country,
yeah.
not just in the Northern Illinois area. Yeah, it's
So with
awesome.
that in mind, Kyra, if someone is listening again and they're thinking they might want to put something like this together, can you think of like it's like a half dozen, steps or best things that you guys have done that they could sort of think about? They want to make this happen in their area?
Yeah, I would say the most important thing for us has been that relationship with the schools. So if this is something that you're trying to get together, start those conversations with the schools. Start finding the partners in the educational system that are willing to help you and help reach out to their colleagues to get the momentum going. That's huge. Without the partnership with the schools, the intern program itself would not be as successful if we didn't have the schools totally buy in on it and, make sure that their students know about it and spread that word. So, if this is something you wanna do, start with your local high school. Find out
And
who's
where in the school?
Yeah,
Are you going in
principal.
at the principal, the counselor, the
S
shop class
it's different
teacher, the
in all the schools that we work with. Some of them are the district administrators for some part are
okay,
very involved with us with some of it. Some of them are the actual teachers. Some of them are the career counselors, whatever you call them. So it depends on the school. I would start with the teacher of the manufacturing program if there is
okay,
a manufacturing program, start there and look for somebody who's passionate about it. We have some people at different schools in the district that are really passionate about helping manufacturing, and they've been instrumental in helping us figure out who to contact at the other schools and bringing them into the fold. Once the other schools find out about it and come to a meeting and get involved, we don't have a problem keeping them involved, but sometimes we don't know who to find, right? We don't know who that person is. So starting with the ones that we knew were passionate and then kinda helping them or having them help us reach out has been great. But that relationship without the educators, this wouldn't work as well as it does.
So, guys, we're doing a little event with Kyra and her
Yes, we are.
consortium. I think I got it that time, maybe. Let's talk a little bit about that before we close.
Yeah, so August 6th is the last day of internships for this year's students. And that evening, we have a celebration. It's sort of like a little graduation. Have all these students that are invited and their parents and all the manufacturers, all of our members, whether they had interns or not, are invited to come. We invite the county administrators. everybody, the local chambers, everybody's involved. We have a big ceremony at McHenry County College in an auditorium. Everybody gets a certificate, just like a graduation. We have typically 4 students that participated that year. We'll be on stage for a panel, which is always a fantastic time. You just never know what they're going to say, and it's always great to hear. They all are up there with big smiles on their faces and just want to tell everybody all of the things they learned about manufacturing that they didn't know before. So it's a great evening and just a great way to kind of close out the summer's program.
That is. I'm
Looking
excited.
forward to that.
it.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
we're
be
going to
fun.
be there, and that's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
We should, I guess we should probably also sneak peek what we're going to be doing the day before.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
This is the second version of your party, so.
Yeah, so the first time we did this was, like, right when you and Paul were joining the fold, and it was way bigger than I thought it was gonna be. We did a big local party, and it was a fundraiser for the Oscar Mike Foundation, and we did it in partnership with Chris Lukey from Manufacturing Happy Hour. So, we were able to raise a good chunk of money for some veterans that are working together to keep wounded veterans on the move. That's what Oscar Mike means. And, gosh, I think we had about 150, 200 people there, live music, just a bunch
Yeah,
of manufacturing people getting together.
so it's August 5th
Yep,
in Rockford, at the Making Chips headquarters studio,
yep.
unless there's a rain delay, and then we'll pivot like we had to last
That's
time.
where we plan to have it, yeah.
Yeah. And it's a great evening. It's a ton of fun. I would definitely encourage anybody in the area to go, but it's also kind of a kickoff to IMTS.
Mhm.
It's the IMTS crew will be there, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. We were all there last time. We had a great time, and I'm looking forward to it again this year. And then the next day we'll be at the graduation event, or yeah, celebration. It'll be a fun couple days in Illinois.
You
Yeah, we
bet.
just need to create ways for manufacturers to hang out. It doesn't always have to be a trade show or anything like that,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's just a bunch of manufacturers getting together, hanging out, celebrating the industry, enjoying each other.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're
So
doing
I'm
our
looking forward to it.
first social event for MPC, August 13th. We've never done it before. Going to a
Oh,
local brewery
fantastic.
just to hang out because I
Good.
agree. I think that's important.
I'm picturing like a gym, like a school dance, and and like all the employers are like nervous to go up and ask the students like, "Hey, you wanna try a machine?"
That is so funny. Uh,
So great. Well, Kyra, thank you so much for equipping and inspiring our audience of manufacturing leaders today on how they can get involved, get more internships going, just kind of cultivate a thriving manufacturing community. And thank you so much for showing us the way.
Thank you for having me.
So, Kyra, tell us about a website that we can send people to learn more about this.
Sure. You can go to mfgpathways.com to find more about what the consortium's up to.
Awesome.
Awesome.
All right, Nick, how are you going to close this one out?
Yeah. I mean, if you can't create a pathway for the manufacturing community, you're not making chips.
And if you're not making chips,
You're not making money.
Bam.
bam.
If you're not making chips, you're not making any money. If you're not making chips, you're not making any money.
If you're not making chips, you're not making money. Bam! If you're not making chips, you're not making money. Making money. Bam! Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not making chips, you're not money. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not making chips, you're not
Making money, 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 not making money.